Hi, how are you? From HeKate's, good morning with HeKate's Crossing. Okay, today, what I'm going to talk about in your learning tarot, you've gone through and you've had a look at some of the cards and you've tried to work out what they mean, you've tried to do some readings and you're getting totally confused. You've looked through some keywords, tried to memorize too many, it's getting too much. Choose 2 or 3 keywords per card. Now, the best thing to do, I find, with people who are learning, is just choose the first 6 cards, say. Get the first 6 cards and go through. The Fool, New Beginnings. The Magician, Looking Beyond the Illusion. The High Priestess, Secrets, Hidden Knowledge. The Empress, Motherhood, Fertility, Bounty. The Emperor, Fatherhood, Ruler, Provider. The Hierophant, Religious, Spiritual, Faith, Learning. The Lovers, Choices, Partnership, Union, Relationships on a deeper level. Okay, you've gone through and learnt those first 6 cards and you go through, and again you go through the Fool, New Beginnings. He's free-spirited. The Magician, he's asking you to look beyond the illusion and use his tools. The High Priestess, Secrets, Hidden Knowledge.
I get something from here.
Oops, sorry, my computer went funny. Okay, so we're up to the High Priestess. We talk about secrets, hidden knowledge, the occult. The Empress, we've talked about motherhood, fertility, abundance, bounty. The Emperor, father, ruler, provider, boss. The Hierophant, we've talked about religious, spirituality, faith, learning, teaching, mentoring. The Lovers, we've said about choices, marriage, union, relationships, something intimate, maybe a relationship that is not so intimate, friendship, passion. Choices can be between 2 people or between 2 things, 2 paths. So you keep going through and you go through and you do that again with each of the cards, adding an extra keyword as you go through and remember them. So as you go through. And then what you do, I find, is you take those 6 cards, you shuffle them. Now you've only got 6, remember. And you say, out of these 6 cards, what card is the most important for me today? And you pick the top one, and it comes up the Magician. And then you go, okay, the Magician asks me to look beyond the illusion. He asks me to use my tools to create or manifest my reality. He's asking me to acknowledge what's within me is what's without me, is on the outside. So what's in me affects what's going on the outside. There seems to be a sense of maybe I need to look at what tools I have and how I can use my tools. You know, what tools do I actually have that I can use? So you can start to develop a little bit more with one card. Now you've still got those first 6 cards, and what you're going to do is you're going to take 2. You're going to say, what's my yin and yang energy? So we've got the Lovers and the High Priestess. So your Lovers asks you to make a choice or make a decision, and it also speaks about a relationship, maybe on some level. Okay, and then you've got the High Priestess, which asks you about secrets. So what secrets have you got in regards to a relationship, maybe? What else does the High Priestess tell you? She's sexuality. You know, she's a sexual woman. So in regards to your sexual woman, what's that in regards to the Lovers? So it could be about choices. So you're using your sexuality to make a choice in some way. So you keep working in how these 2 cards are going to correspond together. Then you've looked at, okay, I've done 2 cards, and I'm quite comfortable with that. Now let's look at 3 cards. So we've got the High Priestess, the Lovers, and we've got the Emperor. So you've got this sexual woman who's into secrets, who's into hidden knowledge from the occult, the mystery. You've got Lovers, which talks about choices, talks about relationships. And you've got this Emperor. This guy has come into the cards, into the reading, and he is talking about being a provider. Maybe he's a father, and he is, or maybe he's a boss or a manager in some way. So there is a relationship on some level between this High Priestess and this Emperor. So now you're starting to look at how these 3 cards can interact. So you keep doing that until you're comfortable. So keep on practicing. 3. Now you've only got the first 6 cards, remember, that you're working with. You're working from the Fool. It's actually 7 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually 7 cards. Sorry, not 6. So you're working with these 7 cards. Okay, from the Fool to the Lovers. And you keep on doing 3 card spreads and seeing how they interact. So now we've got the Emperor, we've got the Hierophant, and we've got the Magician. Okay, so we've got these 3 cards. And how do they correspond? So you've got this Hierophant, and this Emperor, and this Magician. So how do they interact? You've got this Hierophant, who's all about spirituality, faith, religion, teaching and mentoring. You've got this Emperor, this boss, who's always in charge. He's in control of his life, his journey. The Magician, he's again in control of his journey. So I feel like these 3 cards are really strongly talking about being in control. You see that there's 3 cards here saying to you, you know, what do you need to learn in life? Maybe you need to let go of that control. Maybe you're being too controlling. You're being too, trying to be too much in one. You're this mentor. You're this boss, and you're trying to manifest your reality by using the tools that you already have within your life. So it's saying, hey, maybe you need to let go and take a step back. So you can see how things develop as you start working with only these few cards. Sorry, I dropped a couple. And so you've worked with 3 cards. Now you're going to do a shuffle, and you're actually going to work with 4 cards. So out of these 7, 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we have the Hierophant, the High Priestess, the Emperor, the Empress, and the Fool. So how do these 4 cards interact? Okay, so you look at the Hierophant. We know he's about spirituality, faith, teaching, and mentoring, right? You've got the High Priestess, which is about occult, mystery, secrets revealed, communion with divine, maybe the sexuality. You've got the Empress. Now, we know that she's about motherhood. She's bounty and abundance, but she's also fertility. She's also a sense of sensuality. So she's using her sensuality, her beauty within herself in this journey. And you've got this Fool, And he talks about new beginnings, new adventures, free-spirited, being free-spirited. So you've got the Hierophant that talks about faith and tradition. You've got the High Priestess, which is about her mystery and occult in some way. You've got the Empress, which is talking about bounty and abundance, fertility. Okay, and you've got the Fool, which talks about new beginnings. Okay, so this could be about, so when you're looking at these 4 cards together, you could be thinking about your own spirituality and how they connect with the occult in some way. How you can create fertility and abundance in regards to that, so that you have new beginnings. And I just got spell work. So it could be about working with a spell in regards to having a child in some way. So maybe that's what you need to do. You need to sort of find an affirmation, or you need to find a focus that's going to help you with new beginnings. Now, when I talk about birthing of a new child, pregnancy, it could be a sense of a new project. It's your baby. It could be a child. It could be an animal. It could be a pet. Anything that's going to be what you class as your baby. So that's one way of looking at it. So you've done 4 cards, and you've started to sort of get a bit more intuitive because you're practicing with those 7 cards only. Okay, you're not using anything else from the other deck. You're not using any other majors. You're not using the minors or anything like that. You're just practicing with these first 7 cards. Okay, so now you're going to do is you're going to then randomly, so you've laid them out, and you're going to choose the cards, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so we've got the High Priestess, the Fool, the Lovers, the Hierophant, and the Empress. The High Priestess, talking about your occult, your mystery, your secrets hidden. Okay, you've got the Fool with the new beginning, the Lovers with your choices, partnership, relationships in some way, the Hierophant about the spirituality, and the Empress with the fertility, motherhood, bounty, and abundance. So what do these cards mean together? So you've got the secrets revealed in some way, which brings new beginnings. Could bring a sense of choices needing to come through. You need to have faith. Okay, which is very important. You might need to have faith or belief in yourself to create, to nurture the new, the bounty and the abundance that you desire. So you can see, the more you practice with these 7 cards only, you will become more and more confident. Then once you've achieved that, then you can begin to work with the next 7 cards. 7, 8, 9, 10, 14. So you might be working with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Whoops, not Temperance. So you're working through from the Chariot through to transformation. So what you need to do is, again, you've learnt those cards, and you're going to go through and you're going to repeat the same exercises. Go through and learn each card. So you learn the Chariot is all about triumphant victory. Okay? You've got Strength. Okay? You learn that's about courage. You take the Hermit. He's all about solitude. Wheel of Fortune. Alternate paths. Justice. Talks about legalities. The Hanged Man. Sacrifice. The Death card, or transformation, is transformation. Okay? Then you go through again and you go, the Chariot talked about victory and success. Triumphant. So you think of all the words that sort of mean the same thing. Strength talked about courage. Talks about endurance. The Hermit talked about solitude, meditation. The Wheel of Fortune talked about alternate paths, life's ups and downs. Justice talked about legalities, talks about law. The Hanged Man talked about sacrifice, suffering and silence. Transformation, or Death card, talk about transformation, talks about changes. Then you go through again. The Chariot talked about success, victory, triumphant. Can also talk about direction. The Strength card talked about courage and endurance, talked about stamina. The Hermit talked about the solitude, meditation, silence. Wheel of Fortune talked about alternate paths, life's ups and downs, destiny or fate. Then you've got Justice. Justice talked about legalities, also talked about the law, talked about consequences through actions. The Hanged Man talked about sacrifice, suffering and silence, talks about wisdom. Transformation, changes, or the Death card talks about transformation, changes, endings, things ending. So you go through and you do that constantly until you've built up a few keywords for each card. Then you go through and again do what card is of value to me right now. So it is the Wheel of Fortune. So it's talking about your destiny, life's ups and downs, destiny or fate, life's ups and downs, alternative paths to take. So you see yourself going round and round in circles and not really getting off. Okay, now you're going to go through, so you've done that, and you're going to go through and you're going to choose 2 cards that seem to sit with you. So you've got Wheel of Fortune and Transformation. So you go, well, Wheel of Fortune is all about ups and downs, alternate paths, and I'm going through some changes and some transformation, some ending. Something's got to end. So something's got to end so I can move forward. Okay, I get that. Next one is you do it again and again and again until you feel comfortable, and then you do your 3 cards. So let's choose 3 cards. 1, 2, 3. And we have Strength, the Hermit, and the Hangman. Strength is about endurance or courage. So you've got to have courage in the situation. Hermit tells you about being alone, about being solitude and reflection and meditation. And the Hangman talks about that you're suffering in silence or you're being thing. So it's telling you maybe you've got to have the courage to use the wisdom that you've gained through meditation, through reflection, to actually stop the suffering that you've been having. So maybe it's time you speak up. You need to say what you need to say. You need to communicate your thoughts. So you can see you do that constantly with the cards. I'm not going to do with them all because this is about your exercise. I've given you some to start off with the first lot of cards, and the second lot I've given you some information on how to start learning. You can look at the rest of my learning videos and give you a few more ideas on how to use the keywords. Look at my blog. That's got lots. That's got the keywords for the 78 cards. Also gives you a chance to look at each card individually through the Major Arcana. I haven't completed it completely, but it is definitely the first few to sort of start with. And then you can start doing your own exercises and start developing. I've got Chapter 8 of my ebook on my page. So that tells you about how to work with tarot. So it gives you some keywords working with numerology and the suits. So there's lots and lots of ways, and go check out other YouTube videos. There's lots and lots of information. Make sure you've got a journal so you can write everything down. There's so much that you can check out. I totally recommend Kellyanne Maddox. Absolutely brilliant YouTube channel for learning tarot. She's got some really good insights. She does lots of other things as well on her page, which are really, really interesting. I totally recommend Kellyanne Maddox for learning tarot. Is another. She's done an amazing learning. So you get all the different perspectives. I mean, we're all so different. We all learn differently. So you've got to find what suits you and what doesn't. So anyway, that's my little tip on learning tarot. Just one little thing that you can do when you're trying to learn the Major Arcana, just to get a basic understanding so you can start developing in yourself and how you can combine the cards together to make a reading, just so you can understand a little bit to begin with, before you start exploring the larger spreads and trying to work out what the cards actually mean. So this just gives you a real simple little step. Take care and blessed be from HeKate's Crossing.